everyone, it's Anne from Curious Moon Design. I'm going to show you today how I've made these lovely art books from old receipts and cartridge paper. Please join me. Well, today I'm going to have a bit of fun making some more collage, and I'm going to use this as a base, just a piece of cartridge paper, and I'm going to cover it firstly with some receipts. I've got lots of white receipts. These are those grey sort that come through the till. I'm just going to stick them on, maybe uniformly on one and then haphazardly all over. I'm going to just use some wet glue. This has got a little sponge at the end and a glue stick. When I've done that, I'll come back because the fun will start then when I've got the base. Now I'm going to try and be careful and take the tops off the receipts and possibly the barcodes. I'm not sure how much information is stored in a barcode, and I didn't want to go into it. So, but I'd like that sort of effect of the barcode. So this pattern was one of a design I did at college, the basis of a design. So I'm going to cut little rectangles of this design out and put over the barcodes because I quite like that effect. So we'll see what that looks like. And when I've done that, I'll put a little bit of tea stain on just to make the receipts a little bit less white. Okay, well, we've got a bit of the green and olive green on there now. I'm going to experiment with some powder dye. So I haven't done this before, but we'll give it a go and see how it works out. I've got various little bits in my pot. I don't need very much. Well, I'm going to start off with very little, which is what I mean, because it does go a long way. And I'm just going to sprinkle it in places. Ooh, that's probably too much. I've got my apron on because it does go everywhere. Right, here goes. I'm going to spray it now. Okay, well, that didn't turn out entirely how I thought it would, but hey ho, we've got to go with it now. I'm going to try this colour. Let's try this. But maybe they just react differently on paper. That's made rather a lovely colour. Okay, I'm going to leave that to dry again, and I'm going to try and find another blue and try that on top. So we'll see what it turns out like when it's all dry. Okay, well, we've got some interesting things going on here. Still got remnants of the receipts underneath, but the blue didn't work out very well at all, and I haven't got a turquoise ink pad, so I've got to just think about what I'm going to do. I do want some turquoise on there, but so what I'm going to do is, in this little pot, I'm going to mix up some white paint, a smaller touch of blue, and some yellow, and that I think will make me a nice turquoise colour. I just want a little bit so that I can either add it to some water or blob it on and then spray it. So I'll just mix that up and then I'll come back. Okay, well, this is all very experimental. So I've mixed white, blue and yellow, and I've got fairly near to the colour I wanted. So I've tried a little bit down here. What I want to do is blob it on and just move it around, and perhaps with a bit of water as well. So here goes nothing. Just a little bit to begin with, I think. Lovely messy play here. Okay, try a little bit of water. And that's what art's all about, isn't it? Just experimenting. Sometimes it turns out badly, but you can always get something from what you've done. Right. Move this about a bit. Okay, well, let's leave that to dry out. It'll dry up a bit lighter and we'll see what we have. Okay, well, I've gone a bit further ahead. It dried out and I've just painted in some circles and a triangle, a couple of triangles and some dots, just using the end of my paintbrush. So now what I want to do is just make them more defined. So I'm going to, it's still a little bit damp in places, I'm just going to lean on that, and I'm just going to go round these just to give a bit of definition to them. And this is just a indelible ink felt tip. Also catching, I did a few white specks here and there. So I'll carry on doing that, and then when I'm ready to cut this up, I'll come back. So I've added some lines with this pen, And you can see how putting a circle around these little white areas really bring them out, because you can't see it properly there. But if I put a circle around it, or you could use squares or whatever, and I put some lines into the yellow areas. So now I'm ready to cut it up. I'm going to have 2 halves. I want to make some little booklets, some art booklets. So I'm going to trim up the edge first, so that I know I've got that edge. I'll trim all this off, and then I will measure, because I want to have them have the front about that size, and then it'll be folded. One thing with collage, I find it easier rather than cutting out this side, so you're looking at the pattern and wondering how to cut it. I cut it blindly, and it's amazing then, because you randomly pick out patterns that you might not have. So I'm going to measure this in half and cut straight across, and then trim the edges. Okay, well, I have raced on a little bit. I didn't want the video to be too long. I've cut my pieces up into similar sizes and made little booklets from them. So I've added some cartridge paper for pages, and I also added a piece of cartridge paper to the inside of the collage, just so it was rather than the yellow, a nice backing there. And I rather like them, actually. I wasn't sure that I was going to, but now I've cut them up and they're in their little booklets, I think they look rather cute. I've added some words to some of them. This one I've got as a dream diary, because I thought it was rather dreamlike, all the bubbles and floaty bits. You can still see the receipts underneath there, which is rather nice. And they've all got the same amount of pages in. This one's got Imagine on there. This was one of the little cutouts that I had on there, so that fitted in there rather nicely. Wish. And on here I've got Curiosity, and this looked rather like a doorway into another world, so I put Infinity on there. And this was my favourite, so I didn't add a word to the front, but I did add a word to the back, Contemplate. And what I love about collage is that you can see so many different images within the collage, and if you've layered it up well, then there's lots of depth to it. So I hope you like those. I'm going to be using another piece of collage paper that I put receipts onto, and doing some mark making in the next video. So I hope you'll join me. Bye for now, everyone.